All right, everyone, welcome back to the coach's desk. Thank you very much for tuning in to another video, my people. Yeah, man. Tell me if you not hear me, people, because big up to all the people, the people on Facebook, all the persons who continue to support the coach's desk. Big up on yourself, and of course, we have some top shelf um topic to discuss in this one. Without further ado, we will be right back.
Your style and your flavor make the city rock. They must say the season come out with a bang. Coach Minzy, best round here. Remember that.
All right, so welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Yeah, man. Trusting that everybody is doing well and everybody is doing all right. So, people, most of you are going to see me look down. Anyways, but now I'll tell you that in the car. One like Rob Smith, I go forward and come with him. One bagger. Hey, bless up, everybody. You don't know the thing going on, people. News, 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 and more news. Yo, I tell you, you see this JFF election, a peer problem. Kyle Wallace, what go on? Where's the Tyrone Williams? You like the new look? Yeah, man. Me telling you when we back in the studio now, peer problem, man. Paul Watkins, big up yourself. Yeah, man. We not take no pill. You see me, I say no pill. We just, let me tell you what my pill. You see, see my pill here? Yeah, man. The crystal punch. Yeah, man. Because you see what you put in your body, you don't really have no control over it, Paul. Yeah, man, you don't have no control of what you put in your body. But you can have control of what you put in your body. Yo! That you call bars. And then a rum talk we talk. You see me? Jeremy, and big up yourself. Big up yourself. Yeah, man, big up yourself, Kyle Wallace. Toughy Rudy, big up yourself. To the studio outside, boss. Rob Smith, you know, must come. That's why I never want to say what I say, Because you see, man, like Rob Smith, I know him come talk about some furniture thing, But when we get back in desk, him nah say nothing. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, people, well, go on. Bless upon yourself. So, controversial election looms. Injunction, ban, and the quota thing. Yo, appear madness are going in, I think, Virgin. Appear madness are going. Let me telling about that election, people. You see that election, Balakar, Balakar. You need to call my phone in a Balakar. Let me talk and work something out. We want to send the jersey in a Balakar. We want to send the jersey. But Balakar, you have to go work with me I put out, So anybody we can help Balakar for give him an address so we can send the thing to him so it reach. Just help him out now. The jersey there up and running, waiting for Balakar. What do I quote? Nah, man, it's just a little Adidas thing, man. I don't really know quote nothing, man. Yo, you see a P Adidas will beat Bridget. Head to it toe. Yo, look, hey, Rob Smith. Where you come from, man? Yeah, man, me now get off track, people. But guess what? People, like up the video. Like the video. Share the content. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Seeing? So you can become a part of the Coach's Desk family. You understand? So the phone line is already open, people. You can call in. Let your voice be heard. Big up to the Facebook massive that always tuning in. You get what me I say? Thank you very much for tuning in as usual at all times. Tell a friend to tell a friend about what is happening here. You get what me I say? Yeah, man. Actually, big up yourself. Chili Pepper them call you, big up yourself, man. So let's get into the meat of the matter. Because we not too they have to stay too long, you know. We just a cut and go through. Cause God in our heart. So people, what is looming is not a good look for the football. You get what me I say? What is looming is not good for the whole status of the football. You get what me I say? So the fact of the matter is that this would be like two friends becoming enemy. Seeing? And it might not be a personal enemy, but an election enemy, because you know them are go up against each other. You have to pull out tricks out of the hat and all of these things to ensure that you get the upper hand, you know. Because at the end of the day, at the winner, them are going to smile. You see me I say? A pure winners are going to smile at the end of the day. And the loser is going to have bad feeling and possibly want to take it a little bit further. See? So people want to walk with me now because follow the line of the information. See? So Raymond Anderson decided to challenge for the post of JFF president because and it not a bad idea for him to challenge, but because he's there, he knows what's happening, he knows the shortcoming, and it could be a case where him can actually decide if not fall into the same trap. Seeing? And next thing is that Sidela pull out. So you know say that is one of the campaign sign or the campaign logo that Anderson is using and his team. Seeing? But then again, when you look on the flip side of the coin, Anderson has been with the JFF for years. And them say Leopard not change them spot, you know. Seeing? So what I'm saying, will we get a difference if Mr. Anderson win the election? I can tell you, if Mr. Ricketts win the election, we not get no different. What Mr. Ricketts will tell you about is his accomplishment. 2 World Cup with the girls, boys gonna this, boys gonna that. Seeing? And coaches start get certification and this and that. And it is under his watch that you have so many overseas-based players coming to play for the nation. So the two man them have something to talk about. But I don't see anything significant from either of them to say, you know, like water with a wow moment, me no see that. Seeing? I don't see that with none of these candidates. So guess what? You know the controversy stir out of the pillows them. Them man the a war over pillow because the pillow is important in winning the election or the various pillows. Some man want upon one pillow, some man want all like pillow. Hey. Yo, hey. This is very dramatic. This is very hilarious. And at the same time, it is very serious. And if it continues, it's not going to be a good look for football. A matter of fact, I know the fans them right now and myself, we don't trust none of the persons who are running. Because I don't see them as leaders, you know. to be honest. Mike Ricketts missing, and then Mr. Anderson, him not assertive to me to be one of those leaders. Well, we can say Mike Ricketts not assertive because him kind of staying at the foreground and make other people, dictate. Or them say that could be a good leadership style where you ensure so your soldiers them are get the work done. So anyway, you look upon it, each team might have their own way of getting things done. You get what I say? So Anderson's team believe that the Ricketts team is not playing fair. And the Ricketts team believe that as so election go, you are a part of the thing. Apparently, you never did pay attention in a class. So, because of the lack of paying attention in class, some things miss Mr. Anderson. And as it continues to elude him, he basically clutching on straws. And when you look on it still, the Anderson team have top lawyers in them group, that decide to take this to the end, comes what may. So, because Mr. Anderson probably never did pay attention in the class, he missed some of the things them. So I would say, based on what is happening, the Ricketts camp basically are out with the Anderson camp in terms of the information, in terms of how they go about dealing with everything. Not only out with, them are try bar them to, So they say it's all fear in love and war. So, no matter what style Ricketts are use, people say it fear in love and war. But election is normally one of those things that always controversial. When you look at the committee that they are going to use, we understand that Mr. Samoda, who ran for Jamaica Olympic Association JOA, then we understand that Mr. Speed was his campaign manager. So basically, they are saying, how come this man chair this committee? I can't work. Cannot work. Because if it work, there has to be some bias. There has to be some discrepancy. Because if Mr. Speed help you to win, things saying me if return the favor. Things say me want to return the favor. So these are the type of situation that looms with the election, a pure cross-section of friends and friends that make up this thing that are going to cause problem. Remember, you them people that tell you conflict of interest always are going to football. Because you need the people that are involved in it to be a part. I don't think so, I don't think so you need them people there. Jeremy and Miller, you see Jeremy and Miller, you tell me, say me bias, You tell me, say me bias. So because you're all right to do me say with that now, you ask me about two other people. I will use what Mr. Mike Cricket say. Don't ask me that. That is what I'll say. Richie Royal, big up yourself. So here are now, people. You see this election? Then you never know that Ecoreeks. You never. Why you think Mr. Ricketts so very confident? Why you think Mr. Ricketts so confident? Remember say man now run no campaign, you know. The man not interested to come forward, but me here say, what I go drop tomorrow? One drop Polyfesto. Me no know where this one I go drop tomorrow. But then say some festo I go drop. Seen? No. Hey, one thing me can tell you, no, Mr. Anderson, have him plan if it no work. A matter of fact, the Anderson team, I said they can't lose. And Anderson team said they can't lose. And the Ricketts team say them can't lose. But guess what? Somebody a go ball. No, Rob Smith, we know say, that's why I say me know say politics no fear. Me know say politics always have its tricks. That's why it name politics. You think it names so without a reason? You done that. Hey, people no hold on there. Hold on there. Emergency. Hold on there. Don't move a muscle. Oh no, don't move. You want to use this time to like up the video. Just get some water. Me a forward. Hold on. Hold on. Hey, me not tell the people enough to leave, man. I wanna gone. All right. What me did there now? Yeah. Me think say you think say it name Polytricks for no reason at all. You stay there. Polytricks. Multiple tricks. Yo, Jason, big up yourself. Yeah. Yo, una best it up. Anyways, listen to me. This election thing, yeah, boy. Yeah, man, a folly festa, man. Wanna folly, you know. Me don't know if the next one I gonna be Polly or Jolly, but we don't know what go on. Seeing 4 likes. No, sir, me I gonna end the stream. No, man, a 48 likes up on the stream, man. People like it up, no, man. Go over 15 of people. No, Tyrone, I 49 likes right now. 89, 49. Oh, probably me I mix it up in a German. Probably me I mix it up. My apologies, Germain. You can call in German. So here we go on. It is said that the Folly Festa might be some of the ideas that Mr. Anderson see in the. Because remember I'm a part of a team. So him see what go on and him use them thing there for start it out. You understand? So hey, you can't go on in a rap smith. You know why? Me not to tell you why me have on this today because, anyways, oh go on, yes or no. A good news is coming on my phone. All right, we'll get a call from Jermaine. Jermaine, speak your mind, no? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, so big up, Stephen. I think you misunderstood what I said the last time. I
No.
think you're actually talking about me, but I didn't slam you. I didn't say that you were biased. I said that you were always in the middle. You just didn't, say these or that. But now you're coming out swinging. But here's my question to you, right? I'm gonna ask you a honest question. And this is not for you. Don't take it. So, do you think that it is um uh, someone can be honest if they are close to people, like bloggers can be honest if they're close to people in the administration. They know them, they hang with them, they party with them. Everybody know each other. Do you think that most people can be honest in their critique of the JFF if they are friends with them?
That's a very good question, but me can't answer for nobody.
No, I'm not saying the answer for anybody.
No, but that's why I say me can't answer for nobody because me don't know who and them thing there. So me don't know if a man know a man and yet
I got you.
when
I got
bring
you. I got
information, him still bring factual information. You see me I say?
Okay, cool. Another one now. Do you think now if I was supposed to be in the administration and I come on your show, and I know you give me the chance to speak, right? And I say something that you're not, are you gonna, before I come on the show, are you gonna have your homework done? Like have some question that you're gonna ask me, look it up first, you know, what I'm saying is that I'm not gonna have someone on my platform and just saying something which I don't know, so I can't even challenge them.
Mm-hmm.
And so when this information go out in the airways and people who don't know no better consume this and think it's true, well, you don't have anyone pushing back and say, okay, let me ask you, how is this so and how is that so?
What you
And I
making?
think
What
that
you making reference
even
to?
though bloggers are not,
What you making reference to?
I'm not gonna call anybody out. I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just saying,
No, but if you
if
attack,
someone
well, on a German,
come on your show,
German,
all right, all right,
well, on,
all
man.
right. Mm-hmm.
If you are gonna bring up, and a conversation, and for people to have context.
Mm-hmm.
If a me a talk, me can defend myself. If a somebody else,
No, it's not you. No, it's not you. I would just no, I was just saying this to you. Here's what I'm saying. This is not for you. If I'm gonna have someone from the JFF on my show, right? Or anyone in the administration on my show, and they're gonna come and they're gonna say something that the public is gonna consume, right? I'm saying if there's something that, and because a lot of stuff going out there. There's misinformation, there's the truth, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. What I'm saying is information with the girls and so forth, right? If someone gonna come on and say the girl did this and the girl did that, and I think there should be someone, the host should be asking some question like, did this happen? Do you have proof of this? And so that, but let somebody come on the show and not be challenged. This is not you. This is no way. This is not you. What do you think about that?
Boy, ask one question, but me still can't answer, brother. I mean, I hide from
I
the
got you.
question,
I got you.
but me, really and truly, me can't answer that. Me don't know.
That's true. I like your honest answer.
If I me know, me can't tell you. You understand?
Yes.
But me can't talk for your next man because if vlogger A is friend with JFF A, me no know. Even though them a friend, then come on the platform and say things that is true or not true. Me can't tell that. So there's
true, but I
no
was
way
saying
me can answer that question.
If you like someone on your show, that's true. Yeah.
If
but
me bring somebody,
I was saying this to you.
If me bring somebody, if me bring somebody for my show, no know me stay already, This a minor investigative, So know say me I go be the driller. Me I go ask all questions from now till a morning, and the tough questions, the hard questions, the not so favorable questions to the person who's receiving the questions. You know so that me I go do. And I don't care who the guy or the mom.
Okay, quick. To answer my question, you answer it. You answer the question, and that's what I was talking about. That's what I'm looking for. And that's what I was trying to get, Virgil. That's what I was telling you. It's nothing personal with you. It's not you. I've seen other bloggers do it. They just have people come on their show, and they just let them talk, and no pushback, that's all I'm saying. It's not you. But my point to this, though, is misinformation goes out there, and there's a lot of people who don't do them research and just consume it and run with it. That's what I'm saying. You should have, that's not you, because I've seen you at work. I've seen you push back. Yeah. I've seen you ask questions. That's what I was saying. It was not you.
Okay.
And the whole reason why I'm saying that, because I've known some people who don't do their research and they just believe everything that they get from bloggers. They don't go back and check. You get what I'm saying?
No, me always a check.
That was my point.
I mean, I say me get everything right, but me always a check, And me prefer cash, but me always a check. So me don't know. Me can't answer for nobody. Me can't only answer for myself. You understand?
And that's a honest answer, and I respect that. That's a honest answer, and I respect that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So let's go on, listener, all right?
All right, big up yourself.
Much respect.
Hey, Wayne Thompson, you go on, Wayne Thompson, you know, say me ask the tough question, So you can't say, if I me my talk about research, everything when me bring Mr. Thompson can go through scrutiny and come out pure. Big up yourself, Mr. Wayne Thompson. But what go on for you now? Hey, Mr. Thompson, what go on for you? Where you come spy for now, Mr. Thompson? Tell me. Where you come pre? Wanna know me go about my business already, you know, people. Seeing? Wanna know me go about my business already. I don't care who the guy. Me want justice. And well, me can't say me have no friend in a JFF because nobody don't like me. Me don't know why, and I don't care. But if you happen to come on my platform, me I go ask you no questions from now till the morning if you don't have the time. Seeing? And me I go be the farmer. Me I go in the earth and try get out all of the dirt. All right, here one now. Here one now. So apparently, what is happening now, people, is that the Anderson team. Hey, see Neo put it up there. Neo say, when we read the Observer story today, it sounds like the Anderson ticket adopting the conflicts of interest and the legal arguments that started within the YouTube space. I want to know where that start over Yasso. But hold on. Remember say the vulture, I mean the ultra boss upon them team, you know. So of course you know say Cataract are gonna make them know a certain thing where go on where we normally discuss on them platform. You see me I say? And Neo know the thing go. And we and Neo go investigate the whole constitution and rip it apart. And the people then take it down from the website and then mash up your website. Why I think JFF launched new website. And we cause that. Because when they put up the constitution, then we go through it line by line and say, yo, them thing I need to change. Yeah, man, we know say we import, but some people not think say we important, you know, Mr. Thompson. Hey, I know pure idiot up on YouTube, you know. You know, I'm start flash out some paper right now. When the things say idiot up on, hey, you see when me sit down that mice, hey. Hey, sometimes I laugh, you know, because them people that think say we cool, you know. We're full of wit here. And the wit have style too. Where say Neo? Neo say we challenge Anderson. Well, you see Mr. Thompson at the comment, talk to him, Neo. Him the on the Anderson slate. Him come for information. Him say, Neo say we should challenge Anderson ticket to take some of these issues. Conflicts of interest, disqualification of Ricketts due to the defamation based on sexual orientation. Hey, but you see what go on still, Neo. Me know you're the attorney, you know, but from what me understand, you see the Ricketts case, it's a civil case and it has nothing to do with football. That's how me understand. But you are the mind with the council studies behind it. So you probably can correct me if I'm wrong. What I heard is that the matter that Mr. Ricketts is a part of, seeing, is with the defamation, it has to do with a civil case. It has nothing to do with football per se. You understand? So Mr. Thompson, so one of our subscribers say campaign don't run on YouTube. And remember, Mr. Thompson, the last week a campaign are the most serious week, you know. But we're glad to say there still. Just go and watch and listen. So, Neo, tell me if I'm wrong on a point there. His situation has nothing to do with football. It's a civil matter. So hence the reason probably never getting an issue with FIFA. Seeing? But the injunction, Neo. Hey, Neo, tell me if you can come on, Neo, because I want you to talk about this. Neo, tell me if you can come on to the stream and make we talk about that injunction something here. Because you see that injunction something here, Neo, it's serious, you know. Guess what? Me dig up the FIFA article, you know. Hey, when the thing say when we come boy here with us come, so. Yo, when think a joke. All right, Neo, so give him a few minutes. We're not going to hear what I got. Me not to touch that yet. Because the things a joke thing will come about here. Neo, I going to come clear up some of the things them. And we are going to talk about the injunction. Because the injunction people have a big implication. So, Mr. Thompson, why you stay tuned, you know. And if you can call your friends them, send the link to them, make them stay tuned. Because, listen, we are going to reveal some stuff. Because we don't know about we. We don't play around here. Our resident attorney this a forward, you know. Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson. What is happening? Not Mr. Anderson. Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson, probably you need to come on to the stream too, you know. You feel like you want to forward on? Tell me, drop the link right now and pin it. Because is it true, Mr. Thompson, that your team members are planning to file an injunction? So it mashed up the whole election. Talk to it. Because we hear all of them things then, but it's like when you're there, we want to know if it's true. And we don't think you're a lie. Oh, I got a meeting. Oh, Mr. Thompson got a meeting. Say, I get all the way and can't get. A good thing, me slow down. You know, me have trouble you do, Mr. Thompson, but all right, go on handle your business, man. You see me I say? But injunction can lead to ban. But we are going to hear when Neo say, when he forward. Plus, yeah, man, I know better, man. That's why I do better. When Neo forward, we're going to pull up some things and make Neo tell we if what this is saying is actually my interpretation of the whole thing. See? So it can be a case where probably election bucket them are going to kick over, you know. Seeing? Yeah, man. Election bucket might kick over people. Watch what go on. Wait till when Neo drop. I could talk about the quota. Me hear everybody talk about no quota. Listen, a long time. Hey, only remember Mr. Speed Company show you. 2 years ago or 3 years ago. You know, say if people they forgetful. You know, so forgetful. I remember say we have Mr. Speed on that channel, you know. You know, so forget everything when we doing in 3 years with that channel, yeah. And I go on like say on one this thing. Eh? Only forgot say we talk about them thing a long time and we are hit out against these things long time. Mr. Speed did tell we say categorically there has to be where me say again? Quota system for the youth teams, not the senior team. And when you come on and talk about there's no quota. All right, me I send Neo the plane ticket and now. That me I tell you now. Well, on the Neo. Let me get it up and running. Send the plane ticket. Matter of fact, me I drop the link in the comment section. Right now. I mean, I go pin it now. Uno fi stop going like say some things where we talk about long time. It new to YouTube space. And we now get the respect what we need to get. Uno fi stop it, people. Uno fi stop it. You see me I say? And stop going like say, uno no know say we are trendsetter around here. Yeah, we know say there's not a hard cap, but remember when him come on the channel, him did a say it, and it was a hard cap them time. Remember say a big debate did go on, you know. Big argument did go on the channel, you know. I don't know why they're afraid to come over here. Mm-hmm. I don't know why they're afraid to come over here. Because when we are, hey, Neo, link pin and everything. Hey, Fear Spot, what go on? Big up yourself, girl. Yeah, man, big up yourself, Fear Spot. You don't know the thing set. Mm-hmm. Suppression in the election. Controversial. Yo, me I tell you, long time we have discussed certain things around here. Certain things are new to it. Hey, the conversation them are going in a circle, you know see? All right, Chris Smith. Remember me in a comment and did I say it in a Chris Smith? What do you I think upon Manning's Man show. So it never new to me, because I did say it. Right now. Neo, big up yourself. You don't look like an attorney today. You look like the doctor. What God, Neo?
Yeah, coach. Matt, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, we are here.
Yeah, man. We just take a quick hop on the show, and try start through some of the issues that we were talking about.
Mm.
I think you had asked the question about whether or not the suit defamation suit with Mr. Ricketts,
Yeah.
whether or not that was just a civil suit
Matter,
and
yeah.
if it had anything to do with FIFA.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, coach, you and I spoke about this several times, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I agree with you that basically, FIFA had the opportunity to pursue an action against Ricketts if it wanted to, but it appears as if they didn't. Well, not appears, they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they did, no, it wasn't anything public, none serious came out of it. And at the time, I speculated, and I still do believe that the reason why they didn't do anything was because they concluded that Ricketts may have uttered these defamatory words during an election campaign, and it was not official FIFA function that he was doing. In other words, he said this when he was attending a football match, or if he was at a FIFA representing FIFA at some news place or a conference or something like that, maybe FIFA would have judged it differently.
Mm-hmm.
Because in that context, he would be, wearing his cap as a FIFA official.
Represent, right.
Right. And therefore, maybe they would have pursued him if that was the case. But coach, to be honest with you, whereas we can reason that we can say, well, maybe that might be the reason. Some of that is speculation because, as I mentioned back then too, if you're running for the presidency of the Football Federation, and this is when when the defamatory utterances were made, you could argue that he was at least pursuing, and he was already a member of the Jamaican Football Federation, right? And he was engaged in an official FIFA activity, which is running for the presidency of a federation, right? Because I believe that at the time when the words were said, the accusations were made, I think his opponent was challenging for the presidency as well. Is that so? I think so.
I can't, or is it a parish something?
Well, I don't know if it was for the presidency of the JFF or if it was for
No,
some parish.
it's not the presidency of the JFF. I think it
Oh,
was some parish thing.
but it was related to football, right? He was still seeking some position in the federation.
Yeah, man.
If I recall,
Parish.
I'm not sure.
Yes, it's parish, man. It's parish.
It's parish.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but I mean, as I said before, it could be because they figured, well, it's not an official FIFA function that he was pursuing, blah blah blah. They didn't prosecute him.
Yeah.
But as I said, arguments can be made that they could have, and the Anderson campaign could argue that they should have, right?
Okay.
Um, I don't know, I mean, well, I don't know what their position on his what the words that he said. I don't know what their position on that issue is. The case was tried in Jamaica, and I think the court found that it was defamation, and they also said that Mr. Ricketts had to pay, what was it, $10 million, $8 million? I can't remember the amount.
I think on 9 or 11 million thereabouts. Some place there, so.
Right. So I mean, that's not chump change. That's some serious money,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it leads me to the other question though: is has Mr. Ricketts paid?
No, from what we hear in recent time, he has not honor
Made made those? I mean, because
or made any attempt. That's what I've heard.
well, which leads me to another question: what exactly, if he has not paid that money, right? Um, are the courts in Jamaica, is the person he made a statement about, are they pursuing that judgment through the courts? And if so, right, are they doing anything to compel him to make those payments? Is Mr. Ricketts declaring bankruptcy as the reason why he can't pay? I mean, you can't have a court order saying that you have to pay money, and you just simply decide that you're not going to pay.
From what I've heard, Neo, is that he's nonchalant about the situation. Also, the, can I say, victim?
I mean, and listen, and interest can accrue. Interest can accrue on that judgment, and which brings me to the other point. The reason why I'm even talking about it is because how does, if he's not paying the money, or if he's declaring bankruptcy as a reason why he can't make those payments, how does this affect his eligibility to be president of the JFF and to run for the presidency of the JFF? I think that's a relevant question. I don't take sides in the campaign. I'm not trying to give the Addison campaign ideas as to how to win. I'm just saying that I think these are serious questions that should be asked. I mean, if you're trying to be the president of an organization and you're bankrupt, there are lots of issues there now, because if you're bankrupt and creditors are pursuing you, it could mean that you're likely to do things to get money, and you might be doing things that are harmful to the very organization that you are attempting to be the leader of. So separate and apart from just the legal question that I mentioned, which is, well, they're related. Are you declaring bankruptcy? If you're declaring bankruptcy or the creditors are pursuing you, how does that affect your suitability to be the president of the organization?
I think they took one of his vehicle doing on here. I don't know if they are still pursuing another vehicle or whatever, but one of his vehicle was taken, so that would be an amount of the money that
in satisfaction of the judgment.
No, I think it was auction and a portion of the money
Mhm.
it was sold for less amount of what it was valued
Right,
because
because that's
of
what I'm about
auction.
to say. I doubt it could satisfy the entire judgment, but
No, it didn't. It didn't clear it. But that
Mhm.
was, I think, the only from what I've heard in recent past, things could have changed.
Right. Well,
Right.
I
But
mean,
but
yeah, yeah, and then and here's a third angle to it now. So if and again, I'm just I'm just thinking about this and talking. I'm not trying to give Anderson campaign any ideas here. I just think these are interesting intellectual questions that
mhm.
the fans are interested in and other people might be interested in. Um, if even if FIFA did not pursue um uh Mr. Ricketts because they deemed that he was not involved in an official FIFA function when the defamatory statements were made, because it not only violated Jamaica's laws, but also the FIFA regulation, which prohibits defamation based on sexual orientation. If FIFA did not, for some reason, and when we say FIFA, we're talking about FIFA and we're also talking about CONCACAF. If
Mhm.
neither of them pursued any action against him, the question is, should they have? And you can ask CAS, which is the court of forget it's what is it arbitration. I can't remember the thing, but basically it's an international court where they decide issues relating to sports, including FIFA rules and how those things play out. Somebody could ask that court to determine this question. Should they have should FIFA or CONCACAF have prosecuted this matter with respect to the defamation based on sexual orientation. And for the reason being is because there was a court in Jamaica which found that this occurred. So once that happens, it's no longer just speculation or accusation. There's a
Mhm.
court that found that this was done. This was, so it's not something you can say, well, there was an allegation and you just ignore the allegation. You have an actual court in Jamaica find that this was done. So should they, upon learning of this, should they have pursued the thing? So I don't know. I just think those are interesting questions. Um, you
But
know.
Neo,
Mhm.
somebody somebody messaged me just now and said it's a party shop. So those protocols may not apply.
Well, I mean, it certainly it doesn't apply, right? Because they have proven. I mean, I don't want to say they've proven. I don't want to, but nobody has done anything about it, including the board
Mhm.
that's there, and including the members of the JFF themselves. I mean, listen, we live in Jamaica, and there are certain things where we not tolerate and we're not afraid to talk about. However, right, as a president of an organization, you have to conduct yourself with more responsibly, right? So I don't know. I don't personally. I don't think it was a good move on his part.
Mhm.
Um, some things where you say yeah, they don't say a road, you know. So I
Given
don't.
the seat that he holds.
I agree because you know yes, given the post that he holds and the organization that you're representing, if you said this stuff in private, that is with you and your people, but this was something that was said on the radio. It affects players, it affects sponsorship, it affects relations with other FAs, it affects FIFA. So definitely I think that was not a good look for the president or any president of the GFF, right?
All right.
And
All right.
I'm sure the loss of a vehicle and $1 million judgment above your head would also change uh, Mr. Ricketts' conduct in the future as well, right? I mean, I hope so.
All right, Neo. The next point where I want to ask you, so we can clarify for the folks in the comment section.
Mhm.
Um, the injunction,
Yeah, coach. So
because
this,
we're
go
hearing
ahead.
about some sort of injunction that might be filed if things don't go well. If things don't go a particular way, so that might put a halt on the election.
Right, coach. So I read the article, although to be honest with you, I didn't spend a lot of time on it. I do
Mm.
recall somewhere in there mention of a threat to ask the court to issue an injunction to stop. I mean, I don't think it said explicitly to stop the election. But it's a it's a fascinating thought, right? So the first thing is, um, typically you can, even when it comes to election laws, if there are violations going on and hanky panky, if there are clear rules that are being violated, yes, people in political office can seek an injunction and ask the court to pause the election or delay the election until important legal issues and issues of fairness can be sorted out.
But Neo,
Mhm.
FIFA didn't FIFA statute say you can't
Court. See, there you go. So that's the
you
issue,
can't
though.
put no civil action against
Hmm.
the anybody in the federation.
Our court. So you brought up an excellent point, right? So basically, FIFA's rule has always been that you cannot, we are the final arbiters of these issues, and we don't want you to seek, we don't really want you to be seeking, uh, uh,
An injunction.
right, not an injunction, but we don't want you to be seeking a legal
Legal.
ruling, or
Uh-huh.
we don't want you to invite your government to sort out these problems, because as FIFA, we want to be the only people that you're answerable to.
Mhm.
Basically, that's what FIFA rule says, that they don't want the government should not interfere in the affairs of the federation.
But Neo, what will happen
But
if
mhm.
yeah, go ahead.
Let me finish your thought.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yes, so there's also that where they're saying, well, government shouldn't be interfering with with the issues going on in the federation and FIFA. So two things. So the first thing is, there is a public relations campaign that Anderson people can be doing here in the newspaper, which is, we are alleging unfairness with the
Mm-hmm.
election, and we will go as far as to threaten legal action. Now, if they haven't, coach, give me 1 second, just one
Yeah,
second.
man.
Yeah, right. So if they haven't actually sought any redress from FIFA, and they believe that FIFA is the only arbiter of this issue, then perhaps saying this to the press can be just merely a public campaign to highlight the
Okay.
the potential unfairness that they allege that the Ricketts ticket is engaging in, right? On the other hand, so I mean, so if they, so one, that's one thing. The second thing is, we don't know if they have actually sought to get anybody from FIFA or anybody from CONCACAF. We don't know if they have sought out these entities in terms of, bringing, highlighting the issues to them about the unfairness and seeking redress from them to stop whatever the unfairness is. It could be that they have done that. The newspaper article didn't say. I kind of get the feeling that that has not been done. Um, I do believe, based on my memories of their rules, that this can be done. Is it too late to do it? Maybe it is too late, because when is the election? Election, I
Sunday.
think.
Sunday.
Right. So it is almost certainly too late. Um, you know, but something like this, they would have had to pursue from before. The fact that they haven't done it, and this complaint to the newspaper seem kind of more like a public campaign more than anything else. Um, you know, but interestingly, you know, we all should remind ourselves that the people who vote in these elections are not John Public,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is the Paris Association heads. It's the people from the different the members of the JFF, the members of the JFF. You know, so that's where the bulk of the vote come from. So you know, so the question is, how do these allegations fall on the ears of those people who will be casting a vote in the upcoming election? Is this something that is persuasive to them? Um, the truth is that I don't know. I find it interesting, Coach, and I'm going to say this quickly, and you can give me a point that you're going to make. What
Mm-hmm.
I find interesting is all of a sudden this talk about quota, as well as the appearance of a member of the JFF appearing on one of these YouTube shows saying, yes, there is a quota. And actually, whether or not he agreed with it, he kind of equivocated, saying, well, no, I don't agree with it. But on the other hand, in some cases, I agree with it. So he kind of equivocated on that. But
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't escape me that there seems to be an openness on inside the Ricketts campaign as well as the Anderson campaign to say to Paris Association heads and other parties, other so-called stakeholders, that yes, this is Jamaican football for people who live in Jamaica, and we are open, at least in part, to the idea of quotas because we want to make sure that the people here in Jamaica who live underground, that their interests will be defended in, you know, in whichever administration or whichever ticket is going to form the next administration. So you know, so all of these issues are interesting, but my
Mm-hmm.
analysis is that the threat of legal action now, with the election being very soon, a few days away, it's not a serious threat. It's more of a public um campaign than anything else. Coach,
Yeah.
I'm listening to you. I'm going
Yeah.
to mute my mic and my camera.
Yeah.
Um, but I just going to listen to your response. Okay.
All right, cool.
Mhm.
So the next point that I want Neo to clarify. Listen to me. Tom Stranger, if you come on the show and you believe say me want push out Ricketts or me want get Anderson in, I don't give a care about which one of them because guess what? None of them no make to me. You get what me I say? Apparently you just come on the channel. You don't know how me see things. So that's why I really I said that. You understand? Me not depend on no side. Neutral, I mean. And when you carry a neutral, you run faster. You never know. The only problem you have to go put it in a gear and gas to go over hill. So, all right. What from when me read on the FIFA status though, Neo, I know you're listening. It basically tell you that they can't really take people to court because of this, because of issues that they might be having. Because if they take anybody to court or file an injunction in the courts, it might lead to them being banned. So it's not like the JFF will be in administration. Basically, the persons that file that injunction, they will be banned from football. I don't know if I am interpreting it correctly, but let me read what the FIFA statute says. Wait there. So it's obligations relating to dispute resolution. One, the Confederation member association and leagues shall agree to recognize CAS as an independent judicial authority and to ensure that their members, affiliated players, and officials comply with the decisions passed by CAS. And I think Mr. Thompson wrote CAS in the chat short while ago. The same obligation shall apply to football agents and match agents that are licensed by FIFA. Two, recourse to ordinary courts of law is prohibited unless specifically provided for in the FIFA regulations. Recourse to ordinary courts of law for all types of provisional measures is also prohibited. Adata Guan. Number 3 said, the association shall insert a clause in their statutes or regulations stipulating that it is prohibited to take disputes in the association or dispute affecting leagues, members of leagues, clubs, members of clubs, players, officials, and other association officials to ordinary courts of law, unless the FIFA regulations or binding legal provisions specifically provide for or stipulate recourse to ordinary courts of law. Instead of recourse to ordinary courts of law, provision shall be made by arbitration, and that's where CAS will come in. Such disputes shall be taken to an independent or duly constituted arbitration tribunal recognized under the rules of the association or confederation or to CAS. So you really can't take association matters to the ordinary court of law. Am I right to say that there might be a ban on these people, Neo? Or am I
Yeah, I
wrong?
mean, so all right. So I think, I mean, you're right. Um, so I think I mentioned CAS before and acknowledged that the federations are prohibited from seeking legal redress about FIFA related matters from the courts in their respective countries. That is definitely an issue. Um, and you just read the FIFA rule right there. I think it's clear. It's fairly clear. I think, however, that if a party, so all right, so two things. Firstly, if the Anderson ticket wants to pursue some action, yes, they should go and pursue it with CAS. Can they pursue an action against the Ricketts campaign based on unfairness regarding the election in a Jamaican court? Generally the answer to that question is no. But as you said, as the regulation said, it all depends on the details of what type of what is the unfairness that they're alleging occurred. Is that unfairness something to do with the regulation of football by FIFA, or is that unfairness something to do with the officials who are running and positions that they hold in other organizations? For instance, there was talk about the conflict of interest that Mr. Samuda had vis-a-vis with Mr. Speed and some other allegations. In other words, it is not so clear that every single issue that could possibly be pursued in court would run afoul of that FIFA rule. You understand? It may be something having to do with Jamaican law that could be litigated that would preclude somebody from doing something, but that particular issue or that particular legal action does not relate to you know, even though these people hold positions in a federation, are looking to hold a position in a federation, the redress of those issues does not affect FIFA and its administration of Jamaican football. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So generally speaking, yes, people are prohibited from doing it, but there might be these finite small issues that people could still pursue. And the Rickicks case is an example, right? In other words, the person who saw the defamation case against Ricketts, I don't know if he's actively engaged in Jamaica's football anymore, but I think at the time he was running for parish head, or he may have been one before, and he was certainly a member of some club, I recall, or whatever like that. But merely because he pursued that defamation claim against Mr. Ricketts didn't mean that he was completely banned from from the federation or from any FIFA competition, because even though the issue related to Jamaica's football and related to people who were members of the administration, that particular discrete issue was something that he could pursue, but it did not run afoul of that particular FIFA regulation that you just read. I know it's kind of boring, and I know I'm parsing things very finely, but that's what attorneys will do. On the
Mm-hmm.
other hand, like I said before, um, I don't take it seriously because the election is soon, and in order to do all of that stuff, they would have had to start it already. And
Mm-hmm.
then, of course, before the court do anything, they're going to have to make a determination whether or not what they are being asked to do, does it run afoul of the FIFA statute, of the FIFA rule. The court might want to make that decision, and the Ricketts administration might allege that, hey, listen, you don't have any jurisdiction to decide this issue. And then they're going to have to make presentation to the judge about that issue before they even get to the underlying, the underlying legal problem that they're alleging is occurring here. But if I were the Anderson people, I would have already gone to CAS to pursue, whatever legal, whatever unfairness that I think that they were doing. They should have already gone there to do that. But this is not a legal comment, but I think that it is all too tragic because, of course, Anderson being in the federation for all these years, um, he would have been there to oversee many of the conflicts of interest and all of these other unfairness issues which fans deal with, which organizations that want to become a part of the GFF deal with, and so now that he finds himself in a position where he's challenging the administration, it does not escape me that they're also saying, hey, this is unfair. So now when we say it, you can make an allegation that, well, it's just the fans blowing off some steam.
Mm-hmm.
But when they say it, I will go so far as to say that it's an acknowledgement of this unfairness and the problems that are rife in the federation itself.
Yeah, and one thing to add to that, Neo, it also this thing going to class, is it hinged on the individual who filed the suit against Ricketts? Is it a case where if he finds himself, if he still support Ricketts' side,
Mhm.
or he finds himself on Anderson's side, if it will give whichever side he's on an edge in terms of if it goes to class, yes or no?
Well, so here's the thing. It's not the first time. There are other federations, in particular in Africa, where there are allegations all the time about unfairness with elections and people who are running to be the president of the various at the federations in some of these African countries and some of the South American countries too.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes what has happened is that the election occur, and somebody becomes president, but then the issue is in the last moment has gone to CAS. CAS takes a long time to decide it, and then after CAS issues their decision, FIFA acts on the recommendation of CAS, where CAS has determined, for instance, that one of the election was filled with fraud and conflicts of interest and unfairness. And so FIFA said to the president, I don't want to say Nigeria, I don't remember which country it was. Basically, if you don't leave office or have another election, we're going to suspend the federation. Right?
I don't think it's Brazil.
Well, as I said before, it happens all too often, unfortunately. I don't recall which country, but I know for sure of an example or two with some of the smaller federations in Africa. I recall that when I was doing my research. But as for the individual who brings the action, well, if he brings the action, if it's an individual, let's say Mr. Anderson who brings the action, if he brings the action to CAS, then no, he's not going to be suspended or I mean, he's following the procedure that even the rules said that he should follow. If he brings the action in the Jamaican courts, right, he can do that. I mean, will FIFA bar him for doing that? I doubt it, because I think what happens is that what FIFA is saying is the Jamaican court can probably rule. I mean, it shouldn't be, but because they're going to say, well, y'all don't have jurisdiction to make this determination. But essentially, the people who are at risk is the federation itself. So if there's an action brought in Jamaican court makes a determination, and the federation is an active participant in that litigation, right? The federation itself can be suspended because they did not follow FIFA's rule. They invited an outside arbiter other than CAS to determine this issue. So hopefully I have answered the question. If you need any more clarification, let me know.
All right. I think that has covered most of what I wanted,
Sorry, coach, it's kind of long-winded still, but
no, but
it's complicated,
Yeah, it's complicated, but I gathered.
Yeah,
I'm not
man.
sure if the people are listening though, but
Right, I know, because I feel like by the 10th sentence somebody can just tune out still, but these are important questions. I think that if the Anderson campaign really genuinely feels that there was some unfairness, and I think that there is grounds for them to have said that. I think I recall reading in the newspaper about issues relating to the pillars and how if certain organizations qualified as members of certain pillars. And everybody, please forgive me because I've been very busy and dealing with some illness in the family, so I'm not as au fait with everything as everybody is. But I recall that there was that issue, and there wasn't even an issue with respect to police arresting someone and barring other people from participating in some sort of JFF. What was it? Was it voting? I don't remember exactly what it was. But certainly is more than just accusation. I mean, those two examples, and I think there's a third example, shows that there are real genuine issues that need to be addressed. And I think that as you said, the Rickett administration is perhaps saying that Anderson was late to class because essentially what they're saying is when we was doing this to Jim Brown, you never had an issue with it, but now that it's happening to you,
yeah, man,
you want to talk about it. But if it was legal then, when you were benefiting from it, why not legal now?
So that's why I am of the notion, Neo, that these gentlemen were friends, because it can't be a case where Mr. Anderson in the thing for so long and him somehow miss all of this. Or him at the back of the class all along. Him and nobody and a friend. I cannot. I don't agree with it. I don't believe. Is that I'm a play possum or I'm a play fool for catch wise?
Coach, I will say this. I am, you know, just floating this idea. I have no proof of inferences. Some people might infer certain things from the statements that are about to follow. But I don't have any proof of it, but it's just food for thought. You know, sometimes when there are elections and a politician runs unopposed
Mm-hmm.
and wins an election, that politician is there are accusations that he is illegitimate
Mm-hmm.
because he ran unopposed, and there are whispers that he drove all of the potential people who really could have opposed him. He found a way to get rid of them before they could do it, right? And he messed with the election, what you call it now, machinery, to make sure that there could be no possible um opponent to his reappointment and reelection as the president of an organization. So there are instances where in those organizations there's an agreement that somebody is going to run to oppose the leader, but it's not a real opposition. It's an opposition that has been done to create a certain air of legitimacy, because no people cannot say that the leader ran unopposed,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, as I said before, I don't have any proof that this is what is happening now. Um, but certainly there are signs that make you feel a little bit insecure. One of them being the glaring red light is that Mr. Anderson has been in the Federation for all these years.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as we know, is very
No
close.
impact.
Right. And is very close to the president who is there.
Mm-hmm.
And to be completely honest with you, for all the people who could have run against Mr. Ricketts, I think that Mr. Anderson would be the one. He and Mr. Ricketts are probably two of the leaders in the JFF who probably see the closest eye to eye.
Mm.
In
But
other words,
when me here still in a Neo,
mhm,
and this a true investigation, that he
mhm,
was thrust into that situation to run against Mr. Ricketts
mhm,
by influential people.
influential people.
So
And
me
well,
leave it so. Whoever want, whatever people want deduce from that, let
mhm,
them deduce that.
I kind of heard the same thing too. So I am not, and as I said before, I'm not making that accusation like I have proof that it's just he's just running for show and he's not genuinely interested in winning. I'm not
Mm,
saying that. I did also hear that there were influential people who wanted him to run. And to be honest with you, as somebody who's in this space concerned about Jamaican football, I do appreciate, as as flawed as people may think Mr. Anderson's ticket is, he's running a campaign, and I like to see that. I think it's preferable to having no one oppose the current person. For all the criticisms that I have of Mr. Anderson, I think that is something. As I said, I do encourage him running, you know, so that we can talk about these issues of unfairness, some of the critique of the current administration. Um, his campaign has brought some of those things out. And it's not just accusations by a loudmouth people like myself on YouTube, right? So, I do appreciate that. So,
all
so
right.
coach,
And
we think of a win.
some don't know though. The two parties say them are winning now. And
Mhm,
guess what? You see with me now, Neo. Right now, you see two of them for me. Remember, I say For years we are talking about Ricketts and him maladministration, you know.
Right.
So all of a sudden it become great. It can't become. I have not seen it become great.
Hmm.
And for Mr. Andy, so based on what he brought to the table,
Right.
he has not convinced me. So right now, none of them not convince me.
it kind
So
of it kind of
based
seemed
on,
like it's the Anderson Ricketts. Like both of them on the same ticket, which is
remember, say I see me at them and come out, you know. So
right.
that are the biggest thing. And you know what? Mr. Anderson always a talk about JFF is the trust and this and that. And the man feel to recognize that he's still a part of the JFF because him got a place. So if the JFF can't be trusted, Mr. Anderson can't be trusted. That's how me look upon it.
Yeah, I think that they're both of them are moderates in the GFF. I know some people are saying that the Anderson has more people in his on his ticket who are more, you know, Jamaican football for Jamaicans and on the soil only,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you know, I think that Mr. Anderson has tried to moderate that influence on a certain wing in his ticket. You know, and I'm going to bring up something, you know, that I think maybe I know you and I don't say eye to eye on it. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it, but
Mm-hmm.
so you know, uh, our friend here who left the YouTube space and decided that he was going to join the ticket um, and run and campaign for Anderson. You know, so basically, um, I don't know. A lot of people beat Cataract for doing that, and I understand why, because he denounced the politics,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems contradictory because since
Yeah.
he denounced the politics, how could he possibly um, get involved in the politics, especially when there were people who were openly saying on the Anderson ticket that
Right.
they want the quota system and
Mm-hmm.
they don't believe in foreign born Jamaicans playing for the team and those issues. But you know, what I will say, um, and I don't want to coach it as a defense,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like um, I appreciate the fact that, and when I say appreciate, I don't mean I endorse, but I appreciate the fact that um, Ketara decided that he wanted to step up to oppose one party. No,
Mm-hmm.
people say that he has his own selfish reasons for doing so.
Yeah.
He knows what Anderson promised him and blah blah blah. And I mean that is definitely a concern. Um, but on the other hand, I will remind people that if by some miracle Anderson tickets win the election, we will have somebody who occupy these spaces with us, who we've known for a while, be in a position of influence, and we will hope that that person would actually act in a manner that is more consistent with the things that he has expressed in this space and we have expressed also in agreement with him.
Do
So,
you think that will happen, Neo?
well, do I think Mr. Anderson will win the election?
No, not even go so far.
Right.
Peradventure he wins.
Mhm.
You really think Cataract will remain the Cataract or the ultra? Let me tell you, Neo. You see where people them upset about
Mhm.
Cataract just pick a side because of what Anthony Grant faced. The people are also saying he has his own selfish reasons. And for a man that has been chanting like the Bobo them up a Bobo Hill about the best team and Remember when Cataract come in at this space, Cataract have him big encyclopedia with names. Him have a direction names of persons from England,
Right.
So it's like people see that and know what the team offers or members of the team are saying. That's why the people them heartfelt.
I appreciate that.
What he's doing.
I appreciate that 100%. But let me just say this. Sometimes you have to form coalitions with people who you otherwise would not talk to for the purposes of achieving something better. And I'm sure there's a long list of reasons why he got involved. Some of them selfish. But I having been around Cataract and seeing him spend his money and time and effort to do things that he thought were helpful to Jamaica's football, and some of them I think were helpful too. All I will say is all of us are complicated people, and as soon as you step into a position of power, sometimes people will say things. There will be detractors. So I mean, like I said, I think it's a very nuanced view, but for me, I'll say this. I don't want to call Mannings and what's the, I keep on forgetting his name. The other guy. Oh my! I hope you don't see like that disrespect. The other guy who worked with the JFF who was on YouTube, Simon. So
Simon.
Right. So I don't take the view that Simon or Mannings want to sell out because they want to get involved and do something. And in the early days of them participating, those allegations were here. But I don't hold that view. As I said before, I said it then when they did it. I said it's a good thing because we know where I'm coming from. We know their public views, and even if their views are moderated because of their.
We now hear you clearly now.
Yeah, I was just saying that we know Simon and Manning's views, and even though there were accusations that they were selling out from some people, I thought it was a good thing because even if they go there and they moderate their views somewhat because of their experience with the JFF, I think that they brought a new perspective, and they certainly brought thoughts that were more consistent with ours into the organization. So in the same sense, even though Cataract is flawed and he's entering a flawed organization, I encourage people from our spaces to step up, even in the face of allegations that you sell out. Yeah, step up anyway and offer up yourself for these positions, because I still believe that it is new blood and it is there to moderate the existing regime that occupies there. So as I said before, sometimes you have to form a coalition with people that you don't like. Do I think that do I think the criticisms against him are valid? Yeah, sure do. Do I think that he feels that he's put himself in a compromising situation? I am certain that the man feels compromised somewhat, but his calculation is that I would rather feel that compromise, and I'd rather feel that rejection, knowing that if I'm in that position, I can affect some real change in whatever way that I can. So yeah, I mean, it's complicated, but if them win and he's in a position of power, yeah, I would talk to him and say, listen, what are you going to do about quota system? There are people in the administration that either you like them or you don't like them. What are you doing to combat some of the things that are going on here and there? So yeah, that's my view.
Neo, if coach is desk or coach me, we're here a little echo Neo. Like something start messed up with the microphone.
I'm so sorry. It's the phone. Let me close the door. I hope that improved it, coach. Not sure what's happening.
Check.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, we're here good now. All right.
All right.
Some people say somebody send you over here for campaign for Anderson team.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So what exactly have I said that is campaigning for them now? In fact, I think I said things that probably sound more anti-Anderson, although I certainly am not supporting Ricketts. I mean, anyways, moment for talk.
All right. So if I were to decide to go and support the Anderson team, don't you believe that it will be the same backlash that I'll get?
That's right. I mean, and so
Why so?
well, I mean, because of course, listen, it is human nature to behave in that manner where we believe that, you know, if you align yourself with people who are seeking power or who are in power, and those people are not the traditional people of your tribe, human nature basically suggests that, you know, people going to say at first, you know, well, you're a sellout. You understand? Even though your reason for forming that alliance might be a complicated one. And one thing that I've learned in life is that, you know, change and progress starts in uncomfortable spaces. If you remain in this position that you're comfortable in all the time, you're not going to grow. You're never going to really change anything because you're in an echo chamber and you're not, you know, you're not really putting yourself out there where change can occur, you know.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, you know, I think that it's a simplistic view to say that if coach supports Anderson or Ricketts, that means that coach and all of his history and all of the complicated views that he has expressed before just disappear. Somehow he's all Ricketts or he's all Anderson and coach has no more agency. I don't subscribe to that. If coach join one of these things, one of these campaigns, I might disagree with him. But he's coach and he has a public view on things that I am going to hold him accountable for. Now, if him going there and suddenly start say I am all for quota system, I don't believe anybody who's born outside of Jamaica should be able to play. I believe that the players don't have certain rights. You know, if coach go in there and start to speak that way, not only will I confront him and say to him, well, you're flip-flopping, but I will also actively campaign against that. But then on the other hand, because I know coach and I know his history and the history of his public statements, and I have a personal connection to him, I feel that I can hold him accountable. I can persuade him to do certain things, which, you know, sometimes when you're on the outside and you're a rebel, you're free to speak and you're free to tear down. But once you get into the organization, you realize that the organization has other responsibilities which you have to take into account. And you can't seek to change an organization at the expense of completely breaking it. Sometimes change is incremental, you know, but heavy is a crown, right?
But the next thing to know, if remember, over the years, we always go against the administration, you know, for them to clean up and do things a little bit better. And if a team comes out and I go support that team publicly, people still are gonna bash me, you know, after they support everything that I've said over the years pertaining to the team that is presently in. Before you come back in here, Sherman Scott, let me tell you this. This is not a My Cricket show. This is not a Raymond Anderson show. This is a football show. This is coach's desk. This is my desk. So if you support my crickets and a next person I support somebody else, which the person said them not support none of them, don't say show bias because the person not support your candidate. None of the candidates don't own the rights to this program. Let me make that absolutely clear. None of the candidate. Seeing? So just hold on to your phone. And if you want to text or type in the comment section, do so. But don't say the show bias. Because we always objective on this show. And that's why y'all watch it over these years.
Oh boy. Coach, it's funny, right, Coach? Because some people say, Coach, never take a position, him always appear.
Exactly. I know my bias. See me, the people them flip-flop new.
Oh my goodness.
The people them flip-flop. So my cricket now run for presidency, Sherman Scott. What is your problem? All in the comment section, you have been mentioning my crickets. Don't make a thing look so one-sided, man, and I say people bias. You are give your views. Nobody has said to you that you're biased. People just listen, just read a comment.
Hey, Coach. You know, I want to make the case to all of the people watching your show that Mike Ricketts has benefited from Coach's Desk and Manning's Man and all of these shows, not because he has managed to get things right, but and including, when I say Coach's Desk, and I'm talking about Coach's Desk is family. That means you, the viewers watching the show. You guys realize that a lot of the energy and passion and change, you know, and I'm going to say most of the good change that has occurred inside of the GFF and the football is because of us. You know, I mean, several years ago when Coach and I met up early and we started to talk about this thing on the Constitution and all of the stuff that we've been doing, the Jamaican press has had to step up their game in terms of the analysis of football, in terms of their critique of the JFF. We have certainly brought to the fore many issues. And not only have we, brought these ideas, solid ideas up, but we've also kept the energy of the people and the eyes of the people and FIFA on the JFF. So, it's so unfortunate that, as flawed as Ricketts is, many of the things to do, listen, it's not only us either. I am saddened to see Sidela Marley go. I mean, there's things that are happening in Jamaican football, not because of, but in spite of Ricketts and Anderson. You understand? There's things that are happening because of the talent of our people and our children. You understand? It just kind of hurt me that if we had better administrators, if either of these two men reform and really step up to the plate, just imagine the things that we could achieve if all hands were on deck and pulling in the right direction. So, we are not, I reject people saying that Coach is biased or this show is biased or that show is biased. As Coach said, people are trying to be objective, and what we are always trying to do is to make a positive change. And so if that means that we agree with Ricketts sometimes and disagree with him other times, or we agree with Anderson sometimes and we disagree with him at other times, then so be it. Because it's not about them. It's about improving Jamaica's football.
Yeah, and if I were to take a side, it's the same people are gonna come and say, Coach pick side, coach this, coach that. But it's the same people that have been on these streams for years, and here so we are quote unquote disagree with some of the things that the JFF do, and I try to get it in line so the football can be better. And that we about from day one, you know.
From day one.
So that not changing, you know, people. That has not changed, you know. Nobody has no rights from either the side to this channel. Let me say it again. Me and them now talk on a phone. Me and them are no friend. These people don't come by my channel. Me hear somebody else say me have Mr. Andis upon the channel and I ask him soft question. When I tell me ask Mr. Andis, Mr. Bridging, I hope you now get upset. Oh, I'm not like that. I'm not like that. When me I pressure him with questions, you know. So I don't know how some people, if them have short-term memory or something, me can't understand.
Right.
The people, you know, so sometimes you know the problem in the whole space. Sometimes you are the problem in the whole space. Because too flip-flop, easy to switch, bipolar, and all the sort of names that come with it. I mean, now this, I just start the truth because I want me see happen. You understand? If you stop it, man, we are trying to be objective and share the information to you people about what will take place in the election, the injunction where them are trying to put on it, and all of these things. And them things that we are bring to, and I give our views on it. Remember, if you go read the bio of this show, we're opinionated, we're controversial, but we come with facts sometimes. So they don't go on like say, I dibby show this. You just see who upon it. The attorney, the accountant, and more to come. What I go out, man? Wanna be able to sell. Big up yourself, Cranky. What go on?
Welcome, Cranky.
Good night, Nia. Good night, Coach. I love soap operas, and I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna stop crying about the soap opera and enjoy the soap opera, Coach. You know what? I told management I want to do a show about 9 o'clock tonight, so I'm gonna do something by myself and run my mouth a little bit tonight, Coach. Because it's soap opera, you gotta enjoy the soap opera. I heard Neil's comments earlier about the sort of legal implications of all of this, and it's very interesting. I don't know what FIFA's rules are concerning if they have a mandate about when you should hold an election. What happens if the election is not held? Did we discuss that?
Actually, no, we didn't discuss that. No, we did not discuss that.
So I think that's important to know, right?
So
I don't see how. Go ahead.
So let me just see if I clarify. So you are contemplating that the election might not be held on the date it was set for because of the injunction or for some other reason.
Well, you're an attorney, I'm not, so I'll give my speculation as a layperson.
Right.
Which is that when you go to a court of law and the person has evidence and substantive information to suggest that something egregious has been done, which is not appropriate, then I'm sure that judge, within their purview, make a ruling to say we need to delay this until we get to the bottom of this and clarify the matters at hand, right?
Right.
And if you read all the 6 or so items that they've brought up, they all seem to be legit. We don't have the information in front of us and the evidence, but on the surface, they all seem to be legit and substantive enough to affect the outcome of the election. So if that, because what they have done, Nia and Coach, which is very interesting, is that they have identified enough information to say, if you look at the 50 plus votes that are required for the outcome of the election, and you need to get about 27, 28, what the number is.
I think it's
they
60.
can point to, I thought it was 50 something.
I think it's 60 something, but it don't matter.
Whatever the number is.
Right.
They have come up with enough evidence to say if I take out 6 parishes, for example, who are not registered, if I point to the committee chair being conflicted, and the conflict seems very apparent, and by the way, this is innate to Jamaica, so conflicts is everywhere. So now people talking about they have conflicts, like he's not conflicted being part of JFM and running against the JFM. But anyway, so if you break down each of those components and those items, you will see that the votes may add up to the fact that they don't believe they could win the election if all those got on either on their side are not involved in the process. And I would assume the judge would say, you need to make sure each party who can vote in the election, the 60, has an opportunity to vote. Now, if they don't want to vote, that's their prerogative, but they have to have the opportunity to vote, and they have to qualify to vote. And it doesn't appear, based on what the rules that they've set up in their constitution, that some may have qualified to vote. For example, I assume if you're not registered as a legal entity, like 6 of the parish may not be, you may not qualify to vote. I didn't hear anything about St. Mary, though, or CASAF are some of the ones which are going to vote for them about their eligibility. So I'm going to point out what I think doesn't work, that's in my favor, but I'm not giving you the entire picture, right? I'm going to give you what's in my favor. That's what you should do as the opposition, actually. So, and don't take this the wrong way, but when lawyers get involved, we're in trouble. When lawyers get involved, you're going to go down some slippery slope. You don't want to go down that slope.
When lawyers are involved, it means that we have started to address the trouble. So Cranky, let me say this. Just 2 things. So they tell you in law school, say if you cannot win based on the law, then you try and win on the issue of process. And if you can't win on the issue of process or the issue of the law, then you try and win in the court of public opinion or public policy arguments, right? Beyond that saying is also the idea that when the court is an adversarial system, which means that you always have 2 parties, or sometimes there are more than 2 parties. But what it requires is that the parties, in order to allow the arbiter or the court to do something, there are things that they have to do. They have to file an action. They have to establish jurisdiction. They have to inform the court how the court can rule in their favor, right? I'm saying this because as Coach and I were discussing, and you said that you heard some of it. The issue is that these issues that they have pointed out in this newspaper article, and there are other issues which we may have more information on that were not mentioned in this newspaper article. The problem is that a Jamaican court, generally speaking, would not be able to give them the relief that they're seeking now, which is to have for the court to have an injunction, meaning a pause to delay the election until all these issues can be resolved. If they want that type of injunction, they would have to go to CAS to get it, because if the Jamaican court intervenes in that way, it would not be seen as legitimate in the eyes of FIFA. And frankly, based on the Ricketts administration could just go ahead and ignore it, right? Because
but Neil, here's the thing, Neil. Here's the conflict comes in, and you can correct me, you're the attorney. I think the court have jurisdiction in terms of the country, not FIFA.
Right.
So you would have to adhere to the courts, I would think. But then you would raise to FIFA, and FIFA would then intervene, like they did in Brazil, and say, well, I'm going to penalize you as an administration because the court shouldn't get involved. The penalties about you not competing. So then the courts have to back off. Look at what happened in Brazil.
Yeah.
Rodriguez was removed by the courts, right? FIFA then came in and says, this doesn't work for us. He was elected in a the normal electoral process, even though you can tell us, I want to use the word rigged, but let's just say it was managed like the JFF is managing this.
Right.
The courts remove him and put somebody interim. And when they realized that FIFA is going to penalize and going to miss competition, all of a sudden, he got put back in place. The court basically says we can't do that. Because in Brazil, football is a religion, right?
That's right.
It's life and death. So the courts now realize the folly of their ways, which is this is FIFA's jurisdiction, even though we're the only country, by the way, where FIFA doesn't have the say that it does in anywhere else is China. China is actually excluded from this in some way, shape, or form. Because you know, no one tells the China government what to do. No one, FIFA or not. So what FIFA has done is that almost carve out something for China if you read through some of these things. So for example, Pakistan, Mali, those countries were penalized and suspended because the government intervened. With China, when they intervene, because China runs everything through its, as you know, its government systems, whether it's private businesses or public businesses. They have been sort of carved out. But everywhere else in the world, FIFA has that jurisdiction and that mandate.
Right. Yeah,
So,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah. So I mean, you know, you're right, and you know, as we said, you know, they can seek redress from the Jamaican court, but as I was saying to Coach, if I was a judge in a Jamaican court, that's the first issue I would ask is, tell me why I have jurisdiction to resolve this dispute, and that question would involve them explaining to me whether or not I can make a judgment that will be enforced. Because if FIFA says that they have jurisdiction here, you're right. Jamaica has jurisdiction over the laws within its country, within the country, the Jamaican government, the Jamaican courts, right? On the other hand, what FIFA's jurisdiction is that FIFA says, well, for all issues relating to FIFA and the administration of football, we are claiming exclusive jurisdiction over that, and those issues are not issues that affect Jamaican sovereignty. And the reason is because we are merely saying that if you fail to follow our rules and you fail to recognize our jurisdiction, the most we can do is to prevent you from playing in any FIFA related competitions. And so since
a clearer view on it there, Neo.
Okay, somebody
So
posted it.
Yes, so they're seeking an injunction for inclusion in the JFF election. Is that similar to what we spoke about earlier?
I don't know what that means. What do you mean for inclusion? They're included. What do you mean for inclusion?
I can't.
The beach football thing, them are something about.
Okay, because I
just
can't.
one thing. No, they pointed out a lot of different things, right? That came that's only one set of votes, right? That can't be the whole thing. Yeah, that can't be the whole thing.
Like for instance, that's an interesting one because so basically if I'm remembering correctly and I've been informed correctly, one of the discussions is whether or not certain entities are registered in Jamaica like entities should be. And if those entities are not registered, then it can't possibly become a member, a voting member in the nomination process, right? And so it's an interesting idea because there are FIFA rules, there is JFF and its constitution, and there are rules that the JFF board of directors and the JFF board can pass their own internal rules. And so one of their internal rules might be that an organization in the pillar has to be registered with Jamaica, have them bank account, etc., some of these other things, right? And then they're saying, well, this particular entity doesn't qualify because they haven't met the qualification set forth in our internal rules, which as a board we agreed on, right? And that's why I was saying to Coach that there are issues that would have to be decided in front of CAS, but there are other discrete issues which a Jamaican court may have jurisdiction over, and they can make a determination, and in doing so, they would not run afoul of FIFA's rule against governments or other courts not having jurisdiction over the federation. So yes,
but Neil, I think this is a multi-pronged strategy. I think we're dealing with some very smart lawyers for the opposition here, right? I don't think it's a one-dimensional strategy now.
Hmm.
I could see this as delaying tactic. There's a
Hmm.
lot involved here. You could speculate, right? I don't know.
Right.
But for example, at this point, they may count the votes and say we can't win at this point. So how do
Right.
we disqualify certain parties from it? How do we delay so we can continue campaigning? And how do we eventually get to FIFA so they can get involved?
Right.
Because if you're not satisfying your constitution, that has to be in violation of FIFA's guidelines about how you should operate, right?
Right. And so and so that the issue is here that as I said before, I don't know. I don't know that it's not well. I guess you can say it's not satisfying the constitution, but again, it's interesting because there are sometimes rules that the board, the GFF board has put in place, these administrative rules. Some of them are in the constitution. Some of them are rules that they just adopt at a general meeting. Like, there's a rule that Mr. Speed spoke about quota system. And I'm like, okay, hold on. When was that rule made?
That's speed.
Right? Right. So it's like, well, so we're hearing about these rules. I'm not saying that they don't exist, but where was this written? Who had information about it? So it's a complicated thing. But it's like you said, Cranky, with the example about Brazil. They can do something and they can try and pump the brakes. They can seek enforcement from CAS, and they can also have a two-pronged strategy, like you said, seek redress from the Jamaican court too. My issue is that it does not seem believable because at this late stage in the game, it seemed almost next to impossible for them to get the sort of relief that they're asking for. Yes, you can get an emergency injunction if you go to court to do this, but we're talking about the election is what, 4 or 5 days away, right? So
but that's what you do, Neo. You put that's what you do, Neo. You have contacts in the judicial system that will hear the case, but they first have to hear the case. If they hear the case and they make a decision, what happens next? If the JFF go ahead and have their election, are they going on an affront to the court? Are they violating some Jamaican law, whatever it is, that they therefore then need to adhere to? And if not, what's the implications of that?
Right.
It's tricky. It's tricky.
It is tricky, and people do it. But again, it is still because
what you're saying, the lawyers on the or the attorneys on the Anderson ticket is basically using their skills to actually put a delay. But what will the delay accomplish if that is the case?
Okay, so two comments. The first comment is that if we say that they have genuine issues and concrete issues that we think need to be redressed, it seems to me that having had these issues, they should have already brought this issue before CAS, and they should have already been in the process of bringing this issue up before Jamaican court where it is appropriate to do so. All right, but let's assume that they are able to do both things, right? And they ask the court for an injunction. So, in fact, I've had to receive, in New York, they call it an order to show cause, where, they'll send in a document saying order to show cause why an injunction shouldn't be issued. And we want injunction issued now because it's an emergency. And if you don't do it, there will be irreparable harm. And they ask for certain type of relief, right? And the court can, on an emergency basis, put a pause, issue the injunction to prevent further harm from occurring, right? So those things are definitely can occur, right? But again, because it is so close to the time, it makes me think that this is more of a public campaign than a genuine legal maneuver. But I could be wrong. And again, when it comes to election, people people really do things very strange, or they fly hard and fast when it comes to issues involving politics. We can see that here happening in the United States, right? Um, so it is definitely possible. But let's say that then the court issues an injunction, then basically, two things can occur. If it's a Jamaica court issuing an injunction, I do not think, based on my understanding of the FIFA rules, that they can issue an injunction that would prevent the election from going forward. Right? I don't think, because they can certainly do it, but I don't think they have jurisdiction to do it. And I don't think that FIFA, I think if they did do that, that FIFA would probably suspend, just like how they did in Brazil. They'd look to suspend the federation until FIFA can make a determination through CAS or through their own internal arbitration as to the issue, right?
But Neil, they have achieved their objective in a Neil,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
Think about it this way, because FIFA is going to get involved at some point. They have stipulated the rationale, the reasons as to why this is not this is an unfair election.
Mhm.
And if they have done so and gone to the courts, because they basically says we're seeking relief from the court for this, right? So if they have gone to the courts, there, as I just said, it's three components. There's a law,
Mhm.
there's a publicity, and there's a process. They're
Right.
saying all three are flawed.
Mhm.
They're saying based on the Constitution, there's certain things in the Constitution which are not adhered to. They're saying the process is flawed, given some entities not being registered, things of that nature. And the laws and the flawedness of the process are similar in some respects, because you're flouting the rules to achieve your objective. And they're in the public domain now, utilizing all media at their disposal, including us, to
Mhm.
broadcast their case.
Right. I mean, and I acknowledged that it could be a public relations campaign, and I asked Coach, if it is a public relations campaign, and when I say that, what I mean to say is, if they have not begun the process of seeking redress from CAS and the Jamaican court, and have not done so in an appropriate way, then I do not believe that there is enough time, or that they will achieve what they want, what they claim to want to achieve through the legal system. And when I say legal system, I'm talking about the Jamaican court, FIFA, and CAS. In other words, you can say anything you want to say in the newspaper, but if you don't start the legal process and pay the filing fees and write a brief and the certain things, nothing gonna happen. You understand? But on the other hand, you may achieve your objective of creating, of driving a public relations campaign. And my question was, how do these allegations fall on the ears of the various parish presidents and stakeholders who will actually be voting in the election? Do these allegations change their mind one way or the other? So certainly.
Come on, Neil. This is Jamaica. You know those things are etched in stone. They're
But
not changing.
But I listen. So here's one. The thing is, we know, or it has been reported, that when Mr. Ricketts was running for the presidency the last time, he told them that he had no agenda, him no need no manifesto, just know some money I go run. And I'm paraphrasing, right? And so, that was that sufficient to get the majority of the votes from the parish presidents, because they need money they need money for football development, but they also need as much money as they can for their own purposes.
Neil.
I'm
As
being
you're
kind,
talking,
Frank.
I'm laughing. Wait. As you're talking, I'm laughing because here's what people don't realize.
Mhm.
I said it before. We have some smart people in both organizations,
Mhm.
not necessarily the leaders of those organizations. So, if you look at what Raymond's team is doing and what they bring to the table, and who they have in their camp, whatever the lawyers, those who have an organization, part of their team, and they're finding ways to figure out a way to stop this process. On the other side, though, is if you notice, like Speed was out today,
Mhm.
and what did Speed say in part of his discussion he had? What did he say? They have money. Let me repeat. we have money. And
Right.
that money, that statement should not be taken lightly. That money is not just for the girls and the boys, I assume.
Right. Right.
That money is for the football program holistically.
Mhm.
And I'm sure if you're a parish president, you realize if they have money, then money will be distributed to those who need the money to run their football program in their parish.
Right.
So
Wink,
there's a
wink,
lot of
wink.
communication, and I'm sure behind the scenes that's also been communicated. So everybody's out doing their own
Yeah.
way of communicating with the public and providing their message. And obviously, the JFF has had a tough time because their history is not great.
Right.
But the problem with Raymond's team is this: people don't realize this. Speed and Minzy. If
No,
Raymond's
Mr. Speed not there.
team,
Mr. Speed not there. And Neil.
I'm sorry, Minzy and Neo. Yeah,
Yeah.
Speed don't mind.
Mhm.
Here's what people don't realize: if Raymond's team had a non-insider with some credibility,
Mhm.
the public would buy into it. Not that they would necessarily win, they'd have to convince the parish president to change their vote,
Mhm.
but they'll be probably embraced by the public, and there'll be a public sentiment and an outcry for removing the people who have been in those seats forever and bringing the new people, especially if they have credibility. Right now, people are conflicted. They're conflicted because they're saying the president for the new organization is just the same person who's been there for 18 years. Why do we care?
It's the same regime.
Same regime. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the lessons that, as a member of the public and the fans, that I draw from this, which is, I think you're right that if there was an outsider who had the ear of competence to speak on the issue of football, that I think that they could probably get traction at first from the public, and possibly traction amongst the parish association. So, we're still in a situation where the parish associations have almost half, if not more, of all the votes that are needed for them to win, for any thing need to win. So with the changes that were made to the constitution, it's not just the I know we talked about the nomination process and the pillars, but one of the things in the constitution, and something that I advocated for and explained to stakeholders in the JFF and attorneys who were involved in the process of amending the constitution, is that it would be preferable that we increase the number of different entities that can become voting members inside of the JFF, to further expand the number of people who can vote in the election, and by doing so, not have so much power in the hands of the parish association presidents, who are dependent on the chief executive for them to receive monies for their parishes. Because of that structure, you always find that, in my mind anyway, that the person who's in power is going to almost always win if they have been good to the parishes during the tenure of their presidency.
So, Neil, I'm going to take onus with you, Neil, because you have this utopian view of life. You're thinking about fairness and equity and things being done the right way. Neil, the whole thing is about, which was even worse than the borough, how do I set up this constitution and this voting eligibility and the numbers to fit me winning these elections? This is not some process where it's going to be objective, independent, and I'm going to make sure that all the parties who may be associated with football get a vote. I think this was well constructed, well thought out. That's why I get each parish is 2 votes in Neil. Why is each parish getting 2 votes? If everybody's treated equal, why does each parish get 2 votes?
Right. I mean, we know that the fix is in, but what I will say to you is that the changes
changes that have been made to the Constitution.
Your mic chip out now.
Oh, can you hear me now?
We're hearing it, but this kind of distorted.
Yeah, I think that my phone might be dying, guys. But I'll just respond this way to Cranky. See if maybe I can get on my computer. But what I will say, Cranky, is yes, you're right. I am an idealist. However, I will only point out that the changes that have been made to the Constitution, as flawed as it still is, it's much better than what it was when Burrell was president. And
Burrell said that so only he could win.
Right.
Burrell said after Boxing beat him the last time, this will never happen again. I will win this thing.
I will also say to you that the fact that the Reggae people have been playing according to Anderson people dirty suggests to me that they feel a real and distinct possibility that they could lose the election. If they were supremely confident that the Paris Association people alone would make them win, then they probably, some of the things that have occurred would not have occurred.
No, Neil. This is what it is, Neil. So there are at least 3 parishes they know they won't get their votes, right? You got to make sure your win is assured. So if you look at all 14, if you take out Kasafa, St. Mary, and who else? Is it St. Anne? Whatever the other ones are. So you take out 3 or 4. So they now only have about 20, right? And 20 may not be guaranteed because somebody on the table may get something to change their vote to them. So if you want to guarantee, and you're not sure about the other constituent who have not been part of your process, right? They could go anyway. So if you want a surety in terms of an assurance that you winning, you have to find ways to make sure that that win is guaranteed and there's nothing that precludes from doing so. And not just go on the edge, not just get, one over the edge, because you never know where the one may turn. I would think at least 5 or 10 over the required number.
And that's correct. You're right. But I'm just saying to you, though, that this concern, it's going to be, it's competitive now. And I believe that it will grow more competitive. And I believe that the changes to the Constitution will further that process. And one of the things that we should do is, I know it's but one of the things that should be done, and it takes us, the fans as well, is to make sure that more and more entities join the JFF and can represent the people of Jamaica and not just the interests of the Paris Association. So so this whole beat sucker affair and all of this stuff, I had said from before that of an involvement with that entity, but I've always advocated that more and more entities should become members, not just for the purpose of nomination, but for the purpose of voting in the election. The more of those organizations and entities become members and can vote, is the more competitive the elections become, and the greater the possibility for change to come out of that process.
Yeah, no, agreed. Coach, I have to run, leave you, Coach, because I have some stuff to do, and I have this 9 o'clock thing I'm going to do. So, people, I'm back on at 9. I said 1 hour show, because I have to go in bed. But it should be fun. It should be fun. Fun.
I think we have exhausted the thing. It's just one part. Well, we touch on it a little bit. The quota system. You can just sum it up, Cranky, before you leave. What do you think about the quota system?
So what was the quota? I heard the argument. I forget. Is it that we allowed 7 slots overseas or 7 mandated local?
I don't know the new thing, but I remember years ago, Mr. Speed came on the show. He spoke about 6 would be the quota for the junior teams, not the senior team.
He said 7 for the under 20 is what he said.
Right, that's what he said today.
That's what he said recently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, I don't believe in quotas. Look, I think you should have quotas in life, like you have in the US. When you have done something to hurt a set of people where they have to catch up, like you have affirmative action, right? You have had process in place that disadvantage people for years and years and years, so they're going to fall behind. You have to have measures to address this and allow those people to give them a fair chance to, I'm going to use the word catch up as a colloquial phrase. You know what? Address that those situations that previously transpired and allow those people to have a fair chance to function in your society, right? We don't have any situation here where anyone has been disadvantaged except local players by the inadequate coaches and administration that we have. Sorry. That's all it is. So go fix the coaches, go fix the administration, put system, process, and programs in place to have the players perform at a level where they can compete. Because think about it this way, coach. Suppose we had no overseas players involved. In fact, here's what the question is. What has stopped you all those years to get those players to play at the highest level and compete at the highest level? You've been running football forever. What has stopped you? It's not the overseas players and the position they've taken. Because in 98 World Cup, initially we only had 3 people. And then subsequently we got to the World Cup. We need to improve the team. So we brought some in. So you have all these times in the history of Jamaica football from God knows when that you have improved the standard of play to the point where you feel you can compete at the highest level. So why now, when you have citizens, and I keep getting pushback from management on this, citizens who have the rights of any Jamaican who is a citizen, who have the ability to play, and you're saying, I'm not going to use meritocracy, I'm going to allocate a certain portion of the positions for a certain group who has had nothing to suggest that they have been disadvantaged in the past. That's my views. I'm not sure I understand that. And that's why I'm not buying to, whatever age the person is, to say we should allocate spaces for those individuals. I don't know what the difference is between a kid who's a Jamaican citizen who live in Jamaica, born in Jamaica, grew up in Jamaica, and one who's born in Timbuktu. I have no idea what that difference is.
Can I just chime in, coach?
Yeah.
My phone's too dead, though. I agree.
We can close it off shortly, man.
Right. So I agree with you. I agree with you, Cranky. I just want to add, right, that it's a very important issue. But I'm going to make some observations. So, it's my understanding, that with respect to the under 20 coach and the under 20 selection process, that there are a number of players, many players who are interested from many Jamaican citizens who live overseas and were developed overseas, who are professionals who are interested in playing for Jamaica at the under 20 level. And having now an abundance of people to select from who are eminently qualified, the coach is being told that if you pick more than 7, everybody after number 7, you're going to have to, quote unquote, justify that selection. And when you say justify, what you're saying to the coach is, even if you make your case, we are going to tell you that we have the authority to reject that player. So the coach can justify all he wants, but what they're saying is, we will make a determination beyond the 7 people that we give you to choose. We are going to make a determination as to whether or not the 8th person, no matter what justification you make, we are the ones who have the power to determine if that person becomes a member of the team. Also, they're saying that we want the majority of these people, majority of the players, to matriculate through the local Jamaican system, domestic system. However, they acknowledge that there are probably 5 or less than 5 Jamaicans who are under 20 at a professional level. And further, that amongst those 5, some of them may not even be getting adequate playing time, and therefore would probably, they just be there based on the fact that they're domestic, no other reason. So as a result, I completely reject that, because basically it is, and then, well, the third observation is, what agency does the coach have via his contract with the JFF to pick the team? What does the contract say about his power as a coach to select his team? Right? That's another implication, because if they're now making this rule and it is basically conflicting with his contract and the powers that he has under his contract, then the question is, are they breaching the coach's contract? You understand? And then the idea that this rule has existed but somehow was written down and put it underneath the filing cupboard until this appropriate time that they want to talk about it. We don't know when that rule, has it always been the rule? When did is it written down? Who came up with this rule? I mean, I don't know that. It seems kind of strange to me. And then the other observation is that this sort of rule seems to me to be a shout out to people who are more insular around the time of election, saying to them, we will make sure that the domestic people are represented. No, especially when we need the parish association heads and other stakeholders who are on the island to vote in this election. In other words, the YouTube people and the people overseas can vote in the election. So we are definitely showing you guys some leg to let you know that we're down for recruiting the domestic players, and we're down to some extent with the quota system. Anyways, my phone is about to die. Maybe Cranky might join you on your show and have a further discussion on this if you would like. But everybody,
right,
phone's too dead. Respect Coach. Coach is
man, big up Neil.
Enjoy talking to everybody about all this stuff. Very important stuff. Thanks for your time, both of you guys.
All right, big up Neil. Cranky, man, we'll come through the show later, Cranky. So people, remember 9 o'clock. Cranky, I got the pan. I am sure sports, and just go over there, go support the thing. Yeah. Cranky, I get in at the groove. Remember, I'm soon have him channel, and we are gonna flood it as well. Cause we want to go have some of the discussion with Cranky have in mind. You understand? So big up yourself, people. It's another one. We give thanks for the support. Thanks for being here again. You don't know it go. On the way out, please like the video if you have not done so. Thank you very much for tuning in to another Top Shelf show. Yeah, man. Remember, we set the trend. So continue to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. Please remember to also share the video. Tell a friend to tell a friend about the Coach's Desk. Until next time, people, stay safe. Peace.
Your style and your flavor make the city rock. They must say the season come out with a bang. Coach Minzy, best round here. Remember that.